Lightning like Steve McQueen. I'm in the fast lane when the light turns green. And I built tough, I ain't nothing but grit. Cause I made rugged blood, sweat, and spit. Yeah, like a horse I fly. Better push yourself in for a bumpy ride. I like to play hard, but I work harder. And I weather the storm cause I'm built stronger.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? We are back. We are live. It is the Freight Coach Morning Show, the top morning show in transportation, coming to you guys every single weekday, 8:30 a.m. Pacific, 10:30 Central, to break down some industry headlines and, most importantly, provide some actual insight into what you can do with all of this information. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome. This is the real side of freight, ladies and gentlemen. What do I mean by that? I mean, I only speak to transportation professionals, whether it's this weekday show or my twice a week long form podcast. I only speak to the right people who have done what you're looking to do or who are currently doing what you're trying to achieve, so we can put that information out there that you can apply, utilize, and see a meaningful difference in your business and your life. It's one of the many reasons why I proudly fly this American flag behind me every single day. A, we're the greatest nation on earth, but B, I'm living my American dream, and I want to help each and every one of you live yours as well. Solo show today. We got some articles we're going to break down on the sales process, the market, all of that stuff. And Friday's Q&A is going to be special. If you're going to be tuning in on Friday, every single Friday is a Q&A show. And this time, I'm going to have a shipper on the show, live show on Friday to answer any of your sales questions, you guys. So if you want your questions answered, as always, send them over to me via DM. Okay, DM them over to me. I'll choose, if I'm assuming I'm going to get a bunch of DMs on this one because it's going to be a shipper on the show on Friday answering them, but I'll choose the top couple to get it all out there, you guys. So I'm going to be having a shipper on Friday to answer those Q&A shows. So before we go any further, as always, you guys, I got to give a shout out to my friends over at VHub, vhubapp.com. Whether you're a broker, carrier, or a shipper, we all need access to trailers. And the best part, you get paid to move these. That's right. So if you're a small fleet or an owner op, you don't have to shut your operation down or take a truck off the road because you have a trailer in the shop. And here's what they're working on right now, you guys. They have 145 trailers over in Stoughton, Wisconsin, needing to get over to Milton, Ontario. You get $350 US to move these. And now you can go over there and create a drop trailer pool. You can offer that additional capacity to some of those large enterprise shippers, because that's what kind of stops a lot of us from getting in the door is we don't have access to that much equipment. So you can take these and, drop them down in Chicago at your shipper's yard and then just bring them over into the Toronto. I know that's a big power lane out there. There's a ton of freight that moves on that lane. They also have Chattanooga, Tennessee, going to Clinton, Oklahoma. That moves for $400 US. That is expiring today, though. FYI, get on there and snag that one. And then they have a bunch of them out in San Diego, going all over the country. You guys, they got them going to Minnesota, Georgia, Arkansas, Illinois, Michigan, Indiana, Texas, Tennessee, you name it. And and it ranges between $1,100 and $2,200 per move. And then finally, they got Paragould, Arkansas, going to Mississauga, Ontario. Again, there's about 130 trailers left out there needing to go up there, create that drop trailer pool. You get about $736 US per move out there. So hit them up, you guys, vhubapp.com. My friends Xavier Campos, my Stacy Steen, and Zach Lonergan, they'll all be in the audience. Just do me a favor, let them know that the Freight Coach sent you. Dylan Turner, let's get some America. Fuck yeah. In Canada, heck yeah. I like that. He's watching over on YouTube. Adolfo Rodriguez, good morning. Christine Stewart, good morning, everyone. Zena, good morning. Thanks for tuning in. Sonny Sharma, my man. Let's go. Orange shirt gang. Tracy St. Clair, good morning. Thanks for tuning in. As always, Barry Miller, what is up, my dude? Good morning. Good to see you. I do go live over on YouTube and Twitter, you guys. So I've heard from a lot of people that the streaming quality is exponentially better over on YouTube. And that is where I would recommend everybody go. Just search for the Freight Coach over on the YouTube channel, and you'll find me. And as always, you guys subscribe if you're going to go over to those other platforms, or if you hit the audio only replay on iTunes and Spotify later on, just do your boy a solid, rank the show, subscribe to the show, get it out there. That's how we grow, you guys. Is because if you guys see value, your network's going to see value in it as well. Louis Claudio, what is up, dude? Good to see you, man. It's been a minute. Catherine D, she's watching over on YouTube as well. Good morning. Thanks for tuning in as always. All right. I know that there's going to be people rolling in here throughout, so I'm going to mention it a couple of times. Every single Friday is a Q&A show, and I got a shipper coming on Friday, and we're going to answer that. So DM me your questions, and I know I'm going to get a bunch of DMs about this, so I'll just choose the top couple, and we'll answer them live on Friday's show. That's the number one request I get out there all the time is what do I say on a cold call? How do I prospect? How do I reach out? What is it that I can do to get noticed? And your boy here is going to bring that on and make that happen. And then also it's, I put a post out there this morning kind of talking about a lot of this stuff is you're going to see in market shifts and ups and downs and whatever that looks like. There's, some people are going to win, some people are going to lose. But that has nothing to do with your business, right? And I think that watching and looking at what other people are doing and then you choosing to do nothing with that is so detrimental. And, the reality is not every day is going to be a win, right? Shit happens. I have to, I'll be the first one to admit it. I got to hold myself more accountable in some of the areas of my job in my companies to ensure that my shit's getting done every single day, no matter what. And, it's like whatever that whatever that outreach looks like, right? Because if you're out there and you're spending more time thinking about doing stuff, right? Like, oh, what should I say on the phone? Because I think when it boils down to it, when you're cold calling, when you're reaching out, if you want to be better at those activities, you have to get your teeth kicked in. All right. There's no better training than going out there and trying to call people and get them on the phone and have a conversation, right? The best way is always just doing it. Rip that Band-Aid off. And that was my whole point. Whether hold yourself accountable to a number. If you're just starting off, whether it's 15, 50, 100, whatever that looks like, hold yourself accountable, because that you holding yourself accountable and making those calls and sending out those emails, whatever that looks like, that's a win right there. That's what you're telling yourself in your brain is you're holding yourself accountable and you are winning by doing it. And whether you get a response or not is irrelevant. Is the fact that you're winning in your approach by continuing to reach out. And then when you get people on the phone, for example, nobody's got the perfect thing to say, right? That's why I don't sit up here because there is no perfect pitch, right? You got to get out there and you have to develop your own style. That is how I have experienced success in sales. Is what works for me isn't going to work for you or anybody else out there. Is there a framework to follow? Of course, there's a framework to follow. But at the end of the day, if you want to get better at cold calling, you got to make more cold calls. If you want to get more efficient at emailing, send more emails and let the feedback speak towards what is actually working out there, right? Because if you're not getting any response at all, zero interest, it's what you're saying, right? Now, I know with email, it's a little bit different because there's email blockers. They might not even be receiving it. But I think, mainly for cold calling, because I still will always say cold calling is the most effective way of finding out the information that you want. Your feedback is in how quality of conversations you're having, right? You might catch somebody at the wrong moment the first time you reach out. Follow up with them, right? Don't take that first conversation as a deterrent to not make any more calls and put any more effort out there, right? You got to develop it, because what's going to work for a few people is going to be completely off-putting to others. That's the beauty of sales. The best sales reps out there, no matter what anybody wants to post, the best sales reps out there close 1%, 2% of their they fail 99% of the time, right? So that's got to be your mentality going into this and further in this market and everything else. Stop paying attention to what everybody else is doing, because their results in their companies have nothing to do with your results inside of your company or your book of business. And if you want to become better at cold calling, make more fucking cold calls. That's the only advice I can give, because that's going to give you that confidence. The confidence comes in the repetition. It helps you identify hey, you know what? This string of questions worked. I'm going to lean into that a little bit more. Or I'm getting hit with this response numerous times. How do I prepare to navigate through those objections? Because in my opinion, if they're giving you an objection, there's an opportunity there. You just have to work for it, and you got to work really, really hard to get the results that you're looking for. But it's worth it. So that's kind of my little tangent here today, and we're going to get into some articles here. Excuse me. Shout out to Black Rifle Coffee. If you guys are listening to this, your boy loves your product. Just saying. I'm manifesting that they're going to eventually be a partner of mine inside of this. So anyways, articles, all the links to the articles that I break down, I upload to the Freight Coach YouTube channel, as well as the Coffee with the Freight Coach audio only replay of this. And let me see here. Let's go with first one, fleetowner.com. Try selling solutions, not just products. And this is why I kind of posted what I did this morning, because I like to lead up into stuff, right? Like, I feel like I've improved a little bit in my approach over the years of doing podcasting and all this shit. And, I kind of like lead-ins. I'm trying to build that momentum up that way. Anyways, here's something to consider. Sell the problems you solve, not the products. Tyler Robertson, great guy, by the way. If you're not following Tyler Robertson, he's the founder and CEO of Diesel Laptops. Do it right away. He's phenomenal. He's one of the nicest people I've ever met. And his story is fucking great on how he built up his company. So he's definitely worth a follow. He recommended that during his presentation, building a foundation for future success at the Core-Centric Fleet Solutions Conference. I like his way of thinking. Many of us in sales tend to get caught up in explaining the features and the benefits of our products and services before we fully understand the customer's problem. Perhaps we would be better served if we spent more time with the customer to understand their real problems before offering our product or service as the answer. Think of it in the same way that you would conduct a root cause analysis when a vehicle has a problem. We need to keep talking to the customer until we fully understand their issues and problems, not just what is on the surface, but what's underneath that is preventing them from being successful. When we really understand the customer's pain points, we are better positioned to offer them a solution that will serve them in the long term, rather than just a product or a service that may provide a quick fix. Providing them a solution helps build trust between you and the customer, and we all know that people buy from people they trust. And now there's a key point up here that in sales, I think a lot of us go in, and again, I'll always use myself as a prime example, because I thought this way early on in my career. I always thought that every person I reached out to, my focus was on the money that I could make off of that freight. That was it. It had nothing to do with how do I improve their life? How do I improve their operation? It's what can I gain from that? And that was something that I struggled with for a very long time in sales, very long time. And I think that there's a lot of people out there who are doing that, right? That's what I found, that not everybody out there is fucking perfect. And a lot of people are human, that whether they want to admit it on the fucking social media world or not, but it's true, right? And it's like, how are you going in? What is your honest approach, right? And for me personally, when I'm going in there right now, when I'm prospecting somebody, my initial thought has nothing to do with the end result. It has, how do I know that this customer's profile or this customer's product fits in to how my operations are and what my current capabilities are? Because, as much as I would love if I had a shipper drop 1,000 loads on my lap that I had to pick up by Friday, the reality is I couldn't execute upon that right now. I don't have the bandwidth. I don't have the infrastructure in place. That's not a customer that I could actually assist. And I think that understanding who you're going after and why you're going after them is a great start, right? Like, I don't prospect people for the sake of prospecting them. I am very hyper focused on not only the trailer type that I go after. Obviously, Freight Coach Logistics, we're the top open deck and heavy haul transportation provider in the United States of America. You cannot convince me any differently of that, so don't even try. But on top of that, my core region, my core area of strength is in the Southwest here. Like I'm in Phoenix, right? So I'm really only prospecting a core region. My region is going to be Nevada, obviously Arizona, Nevada, Colorado, Utah, New Mexico, Southern California. And that's my core region. That's who I'm going after. And trust me, there's more fucking open deck freight that moves on that than I could even remotely fathom on being able to handle right now if I was awarded 100% of everything. But I'm very hyper focused in what I'm reaching out to because of the current freight mix that I'm moving, right? That's the region where the core of my customers are moving freight on. There, and one of my first customers based on the East Coast, and we move a ton of freight on the East Coast as well. But like that's my core competency. Okay, my core competency is that. So when I'm reaching out to them, I want to find out the very specific lanes that align with my current network. And it's similar freight types that are in there. Again, open deck, heavy haul, specialized. That's my jam. That's what I go with. And that's what I'm prospecting based off of. And I even take it even a step further back is my perfect customer out there. And again, perfect customer doesn't exist, but I want to go after the shippers that have anywhere from 10,000 annual shipments down to about 1,000 annual shipments. Those are the ones, like that's my core market that I'm going after. And again, there's more freight out there alone in that than any of you could even fathom, because some of you are going to say, oh, you're limiting yourself. I would argue that the people who are out there calling people for the sake of calling them, going after everything right now, you're fucking working against yourself more than anything. I am very hyper refined on what I'm doing, and I'm not going to deviate from that because I have actual results that I can show that show success based off of that approach. And for me, it's like I understand my customers' pain points, right? Because from what I've identified, every single shipper out there who moves, say, shingles, or who moves siding, or who moves construction equipment, ironically, all have kind of the same pain points, right? So I understand that going into those cold calls and those outreaches, I am very aware of what they're up against. So for me, I position myself in that manner when I'm reaching out to them. And then so I can provide the solution. I can provide a way to make their life easier, right? Because I'm all about building up that customer loyalty. So now, in this article, it wasn't a long one. I just wanted to talk about this specific article and this specific topic about selling the solution, right? Because I think a lot of us as brokers, we want to sell the fact that we could save them money and that we can do all of their stuff. And we want to go in to learn more about their operation. I think that is the worst advice that anybody has been given in the sales process, is reaching out to your prospect to learn more about their operation. Not in 2023, maybe in fucking 1970 or 1980, but in 2023, everything you need to know about a company is on their website. Literally everything. All their facilities are located on their website, their regions that they operate in, every single thing is on their website. And if you can't take 30 seconds and study their website, or 3 minutes and study their website and present them with a solution to a possible problem that they have on your cold outreach in today's market, why would they ever take your phone call or reply to your email? So think about that as we're going in. Again, it's a short article, but there's a lot of information out there that kind of aligns with what I was just saying there. And again, you guys, this is just coming from my perspective about what works for me over my 12-year career in selling freight brokerage. Okay. This is all this is. I'm not sitting up here telling you do what I say or anything like that. I'm just giving you my perspective. Okay. I'm not trying to sell you a course. I'm not trying to sell you anything by telling you this. This is just what I go through every single day, because I'm out here building my business I'm out here building my brokerage right now. I have about as live feedback as you can fucking get because I'm in the trenches with every single one of you guys day in and day out. Fleetowner.com is that article. Try selling solutions, not just products. 1 second here. Next article, joc.com. My man, Bill Cassidy. Got to get him back on the show too. U.S. truckload market bouncing along pricing bottom. After plummeting for more than a year, a bottom of the U.S. truckload spot market is emerging, although excuse me, my brain works faster than my mouth sometimes. Although its exact contours are hard to trace. Spot dry van, refrigerated, and flatbed rates were all rising on a week-by-week basis in late May, but that doesn't mean that the spot market has reached an inflection point. As we've discussed on here, a lot of that has to do with DOT inspection week, followed back up by having holidays mixed into that. That's going to always increase spot rates. In that, those hoping for more stability in the domestic freight market, however, may be encouraged by trends on the ocean. Again, this is why we look at this, you guys, because where's a lot of stuff manufactured still? Overseas, and it's brought in through imports. So imports, pending imports, sailings, all of that is a massive indicator for specific freight markets that are out here. Container lines in the Trans-Pacific trade pared back blank sailings in May with fewer cuts and more biweekly service. As a result, ocean rates appear to have found a floor, market experts say. What's needed before rates on the land and sea rise from their respective floors is stronger demand, but it's unclear where that demand will come from. U.S. consumers continue to spend, but their resilience is being tested. We've seen the consumer retrench as they continue to face pressure from rapid inflation, which we see squeezing their ability to spend on discretionary items, including athletic footwear, said Mary Dillon, the CEO of retailer Floor & Decor, told the Wall Street Analysis in early May. It will be pivotal for shippers, brokers, and carriers, said Ken Adamo. He's the chief of analytics at DAT. And we expect to see the effects of seasonality on freight volumes and rates. The question is, how sustainable will those effects be? The window of opportunity for substantial savings in rates based solely on truckload spot market trend is narrowing, though not yet closing. Data suggests that there is further room for trucking rates to fall in the coming months, given demand is likely to remain soft for the next several months, said Jason Miller. However, there is evidence that we are likely approaching a floor in terms of freight volumes, given that we are seeing in manufacturing. There is still increasing evidence that manufacturing activity has reached its trough, though questions now seem to be triggering in high demand. So again, just based off of what I'm seeing out there in my businesses, is like the RFP game is strong right now. There's a lot of rates that are that you're bidding on for shorter bid cycles now. And, I have customers, and again, like this is what you see. And this is why it's like when I see tender rejections and when I see a lot of data out there, if you accept a tender and then post it out there on the spot market, what does that actually account for? Is that a spot load then, even though you accepted the contracted rate? What is that? And then you transact it as a spot rate. So again, when you're going back and forth on that, this is why I think a lot of data is subjective. I have shippers that I'm working with where we do have published rates, but you know what? They do go off bid and say, hey, what can you move this for? That's happened throughout the entirety of my career, and that's never going to change. Again, shout out to my friends over at Green Screens, you guys. This is why one of the main reasons why I partnered with them. They have a phenomenal product, but it keeps this stuff up to date. This is what helps me see how these markets are trending and get out there and win more consistent business by offering consistent pricing, because there's a lot of spikes right now, right? And there's a race to the bottom and everything that's going on out there. But how do you position yourself in any freight market to win long term? Hit up Green Screens, you guys. I'm telling you, I'm using them in my brokerage. I'm winning more business, sustainable business that keeps my carriers happy as well as my customers out there. So hit them up, you guys, if you want to check it out more. You know where to go, greenscreens.ai/the freight coach. But even if you just hit them up, you guys, like, you have to look at multiple data points in today's market, because you're going to see a lot of stuff going on out there. You have some data providers who are saying that the fucking everything's going to fall apart. right? It's going to continue to deteriorate. That's out there. But again, how do you bring a solution to your customers? Because if you go, I guarantee if you go to one of your shippers and say, hey, we can't find pricing because it's so sporadic, they're going to kick you out of their network. You have to find a solution that's going on. Signs of seasonality is also in this in this article. And again, when we had our produce report on Friday with my friend Cody with ANZ Trucking, if you have whatever, if you're on a load board right now, go out there and check out how much freight is moving. And just out of Nogales alone, I'm completely infatuated with that reefer market right now. If you're in anywhere near the Southwest or Nogales, Arizona, and you have a reefer, get your truck down there. There was again, about 1,000 loads posted to 100 trucks today. So 10 loads to one truck. Talk about bargaining power. Let me see here. The long decline in spot rates, which were down more than 25% year over year, is slowing and possibly coming to an end at 206 per mile. The DAT national average paid for a spot market rate for May was only down 1%. The tentative JOC shipper paid broker rate in the same period dropped 3 cents to 237 a mile. On a week-to-week basis, however, spot rates rose in late May, obviously thanks to Blitz Week and then the holiday, as we discussed. Dry van line haul rates rose 2 cents out there. Analysts are looking for spring seasonality that might lift trucking. In 2016 and 19, it was precisely the third week in May when the spot market entered a recovery phase after prolonged declines and stagnations. Seasonality kicks in and shippers needs more trucks. That came from my friend Ken Adamo. In its forecasting, DAT is just trying to balance long-term trends with seasonalities. He said truckload spot market is bouncing along what looks like the bottom and it's tightening. Refrigerated and dry van capacity, said Dean Croak. And then with produce season arriving late this year and the freight market likely passing the peak of inventory destock, freight demand is near the bottom, said Tim Denoyer, who's the VP and senior analyst at ACT. And then inflation easing, improving real income trends will allow a bit more holiday spending. This is, again, there's a ton of great information in this article because it's bringing multiple sides of this. And when you're out there trying to decipher how a market is going to perform, especially if you're playing in the spot market, especially if you're a broker out there and that is how you are earning business is by one-offs and two-off shipments here and there, this is going to give you an actual plan to follow because the seasonality in a normal freight market, which we're in a normal freight market, right? This has nothing to do with rates. I'm talking about actual trend lines. That's what I'm following. The seasonal push of commodities that are coming through. This is literally everything that I've seen throughout my entire career. So again, you're gonna see a little bit of a lull, and it's gonna spike up around the 4th of July. A little bit of a lull, spike up around Labor Day. And then that's when holiday freight really starts to push and start to come in. And you're going to see that elevated market. That's why I think that if they're with the rebalance, my gut tells me later on this year. Again, I don't have a fucking crystal ball. No matter what anybody says, there is a lot of major geopolitical shit that's going on out there that could completely fucking derail all of this. But my gut tells me, based off of my actual industry experience, is that we will see something later this year. I don't know how much of I'm not going to celebrate if it's 1 or 2 cents or whatever that looks like, but I think that that's when you're going to start to see a shift out there. So again, from a sales perspective right now, do not lose sight. Do not stop reaching out because at some point, you guys, whether it's this week or fucking next month or in 3 months from now, your prospects will need your services. Okay, so don't lose sight of that. That article, joc.com, U.S. truckload market bouncing along pricing bottom, says analysts. And that is going to be it for today. You guys, who knows? I might pull a guest out of my hat for tomorrow. I'm not sure yet. But otherwise, you guys, we'll be back tomorrow, 8:30 a.m. Pacific, 10:30 Central. As always, if you guys got value, subscribe and share the show. Rank the show out there, you guys. That's really all I can ask from you guys at the end of the day. You guys are fucking great at it, but the more and more that we can share and get this out there, the more and more information we're going to continue to drive home to help you guys out in any way we can. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys, and we'll be talking to you soon.